It is an honor to be here again with you in this 5th edition of m-Tourisme Day. Thank you very much for having us with us. Sorry for the inconveniences. We have a little problem with the connection, but we are back again. Okay, so I begin with my presentation. I will try to be brief, and this is like a very small intro, and then I will give the floor to my colleagues.
And just try to speak very slowly, not because people don't understand, but because it's better for the sound.
Okay, I will. I will begin with my presentation. Okay, as you know, we are Touristec. Okay, we are the technological and tourism international cluster with our offices, headquarters in Park Vid, Palma de Mallorca, Spain. Okay, this is our solutions map that you already know. This is our metro map, as we call it, with all the solutions from our partners. So as you can see, we've got travel agencies, accommodation, restaurants, land transport, air transport, vehicle hire, ports and marinas, tour operators, everything, all included in the tourist travel industry value chain. The presence of Touristec around the world. We've got more than 50 years leading the tourism industry. The software made in Balearic Islands has a presence around the world. There are millions of reservations through hotel and motel ERPs, web portals, and internet applications. We've connected 5,000 moorings, more than 3,000 restaurants, airports, and airlines worldwide connected. Thousands of passengers are connected daily through our partners' connections, also for cruises and other sea crafts. Hundreds of travel agencies and tour operators which are operating in Western, Eastern Europe, the Mediterranean, Russia, United States and Caribbean, and also includes rental cars, golf courses, culture and sport facilities, and museums. As the tourism umbrella of the Eureka network, we are working and we are oriented to public and private entities. As you know, the Eureka is a pan-European umbrella which is formed by the 28 member states and also third countries like Israel, South Korea, and Canada, for instance. The added value is for all the national governments involved and the entities involved the idea is promoting Europe as a top destination for a sustainable, responsible, and accessible destination. This is very important for us. As you know, our 4 main areas are ICT, business processes, quality of life, and sustainability. And from these 4 main areas, there are 15 technological fields. And for European Industry and Research Organization, the idea and objective is promoting industrial RTDI for tourism, European travel interoperability, and mobility issues. These are members from Czech Republic, Portugal, Turkey, Bulgaria, and Spain, which are the entities Hospitality Training, IMA from Czech Republic, and from Portugal we have INOV and Waterpolis, which are very active as well. From Turkey we have Parkery, from Bulgaria we have Aspet, and from Spain we have Master Tour, which is the only entity in Spain which is certificated in the ISO in technological data, and Technotour, Segitur, the agency for the ministry in order to promote technological issues, and us, Touristec, as chair and secretariat of the umbrella. Also to be mentioned that we would like to work and be having into umbrella other countries. Hopefully, we've also cooperated on all these years with France. Hopefully, we would like to cooperate soon if it's the case, and with more other countries in order to create innovative projects in travel and tourism. Also, I would like to say, and as you can see, I haven't made a deep intro in big data because hopefully all my colleagues will do so. But I would like to say that within a month, on November the 12th and 13th, here in Parvik, exactly the same place, we will have our second international brokerage event. of course, the theme as well is the technology and innovation in tourism. We would like so much to have your participation, so you are very welcome to have you here. And one of the main topics is going to be big data and big data solutions for tourism. So we're expecting to have big players like Amazon, IBM, Telefonica, and so on. So it will be a pleasure to having us with us. And we await you there. We're longing to cooperate with you, whether in project, strategics, innovative RDI projects. So we're very pleased to collaborate with, of course, Jan Bernard, the Sofia Antipolis, and the Telecom Valley. Thank you very much to have us with us. And now I leave the floor to Maxi Iglesias, or Maxi San Miguel, please. I leave you the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. Now, how can we do so that they share my screen? Okay, can you see my screen?
No, but I have it also.
We cannot hear you. Okay, now.
Big data, mobility.
Yes, so if you see that screen, that's what I wanted. So, good morning, good morning, everyone. What I'm going to do is to show you some snapshots of the research that we do on human mobility using big data from new technologies, from ICT. This is research that we do at TIFISC, which is Research Institute of the University of the Balearic Islands and the Spanish National Research Council. Now, these type of methodologies are of great potential and impact in tourism. I'm sure that Miguel Palleras will elaborate on that. Of course, I would be very glad to receive any feedback that you might have on specific questions to be addressed with these methodologies in this context. Now, no need to introduce what the data deluge is. Now, what is the challenge? The challenge for us is the given big data to extract information for data, and next step, to extract knowledge from information. And if there is no knowledge, there is no way of using this data. To be precise, I will talk about three sources of data that we use. One is Twitter data, the other is cell phone, and the other is electronic transactions. Cell phone comes from the Spanish but international company, Telefonica, and the electronic transactions are data that come from the second largest Spanish bank, BBVA. Twitter data. Twitter data, we do our own data mining. For the last 2 or 3 years, we've been collecting about 20 million tweets per day, and we extract from them geolocalized Twitter. And this is just a map of Europe looking at geolocalized Twitter. Things that one can do with that. First thing is to look at singular events in which there is a mobility of people. To give you an example, you probably are aware what happened in September 11, 2013, that there was a chain of people of about 1 million people forming a change from the border in France to the south of Catalonia, and you can see how this chain is formed at 5 o'clock and how it disappears. That was just looking at this geolocalized Twitter. Another example of singular event is what happened 1 year later in the streets of Barcelona. You can see that a bee was going to be formed there. This is 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you will see as time goes on and the afternoon approaches, people were gathering in the streets of Barcelona, and they, at 5 o'clock, they formed this bee in the two main streets of Barcelona, which are the Diagonal and Gran Via, and then it disappears. So that's an instrument to follow singular events that happened in different places. Other thing that one can do is to see what is the connection of one given city with the rest of the world in terms of city influence or human diffusion. Again, this is a map of our geolocalized Twitter in the world. What you are seeing here is the aggregated position of geolocalized Twitter from people that were 1,000 days ago in the city of London. So you start with people day one in London and you let them move in the globe. You see this, that as we know, London is a very globalized city with a large influence in everywhere in the world. Now, if we do the same thing from Mallorca, day one in Mallorca, you of course see that our global influence is not that much. Still, we have some influence in North America and also in Asia. You can really see this on a movie as time goes on, from day one, starting in the island of Mallorca, to the rest of the world. You see that we have a very large influence in Europe, including Scandinavian countries. For some reason, there are two European or Western European countries that are not that well connected to Mallorca. One is Portugal and the other is France. So something to do about it probably. Okay. Now, you can do the same thing starting from Nice. And you see that probably it has more influence in North America, also in South America, also in Asia. It is not that well connected with Russia, and it certainly has less good connections with the Scandinavian countries that we have in Mallorca. Again, you can follow that from that and connecting all these things to which influence connection of the rest of the world. Other thing that one can do with Twitter is to recognize languages, and recognizing languages is a way to identify what sort of people you have. This is the amount of Twitter in the Balearic Islands, all Twitter, tweets in English, tweets in Catalan, tweets in Spanish. For instance, one can recognize here that the English tourists are concentrated in the west part of the Bay of Palma and not in the northeast, which is predominantly German. So that's an instrument, again, to look at these things. Or you can see, this is not our war, but it is interesting. If you see in Belgium, French and Flemish, you see the real border, a front between two language communities. Well, if you go to Barcelona, you see that they are really mixed, Spanish and Catalan in the same. So again, it's an instrument to try to identify what type of people or what is the origin of people that you see in different places. Next thing I want to comment with you is the use of cell phone data. This comes from an European project which we coordinated and where we used this ICT data to study mobility with 3 case studies, which were the city of Barcelona, the city of London, and the city of Zurich. This is the type of data that we had from Telefonica, so 1.5 million calls per day during 1 month. And this is again the city of Barcelona against a small movie where you can see how, as day goes on, you see the different activity, the different number of phone calls in the different areas of Barcelona. If let me start this again. If any of you know a little bit Barcelona, this is the area of the market where goods come in, then it comes the airport, and then as time goes on, in the middle of the day, you have the center of the city. So with this instrument, you can identify which are the hot spots of activity in a city. Here what you see is a comparison of the city of Barcelona, and which is the enlarged metropolitan area of Palma, the activity in different places. You can see in the city of Palma, the center of city, but the second important part of Palma, which is Playa de Palma, where most tourist activity appears. You can see this as time goes on during the day. Now, again, what kind of knowledge can we extract from this thing? First thing is the debated thing of monocenter to polycenter cities You see, we did that for 31 cities in Spain. This is Granada, relatively small city, 500,000 inhabitants, which is purely monocenter, while the largest cities are polycenter, like the one in Madrid. The main thing here is that you recognize the hotspots not by asking people, and if you start asking people, you are already a priori trying to decide where the hotspots are. Here they emerge from the data. It is pure data that you have. Now, there are several questions that one can address. One is this number of hotspots is proportional to the population, which is not. It grows with the population, but it is not proportional to the population. And there are different policies the existence of different cities to promote. Now from that is to look at which cities are compact and which cities are not compact. One can define some compacity coefficient, so this is a quantitative measure of what we understand by compacity in a city. It grows with the population. Those are the non-compact cities. Those are the largest one, those are compact cities. The largest one, like Madrid and Barcelona, are non-compact. You see a sort of growth, and then you see that there are some type of places that do not fit in the general trend. For instance, the city of Palma. And again, this is easy to understand because the city of Palma, being of a relatively small population, is very non-compact because it has two well-defined centers, which is the center of city, where most residents live, and then the touristic part, which is the Playa de Palma. Other thing you can look is to look at the urban rhythm of the cities. What you have here is the number of users as time goes on during the day, in an average weekday for different cities in Spain. And if you just normalize that by the total number of calls, you see that most of these cities have the same rhythm. This is the peak in the morning, this is the lunch break, this is the peak in the afternoon. You can see that cities like Barcelona and Madrid, that people would like to think that they have different cultures, they do not. They fill into the same curve. But cities like Sevilla, in which the lunch break is later on, are different. Of course, it would be interesting to compare this urban rhythm in Spanish cities with other cities through Europe, but we have not been able to do that because we did not have access to the data. Now, what is the use of that? What is this good for? Well, what I'm showing here is a comparison of phone data and Twitter data in the city of Barcelona. And from here, you can extract the distribution of commuting distances. So people go to work, and which is the distance that they travel to go to work. This is for Barcelona, this is for Madrid. Madrid is a more extended city, so it has larger distances. But with phone and Twitter, you get the same distribution. This is a validation of ICT data for this use. Now, these origin-destination matrices of mobility in large areas have been traditionally done by surveys that cost millions of euros. With this technology, that once it has been validated, it can be just extracted from that in a matter of a few hours. So we call that low-cost origin-destination matrices. And there are already companies that are selling this technology. What I'm showing here is how these origin-destination matrices calculated for the area of Barcelona match what was done time ago in terms of very costly surveys. So this is the type of practical things that we can do. Of course, for us, this means that we do not need to do these surveys that are very expensive, but the phone companies have a different view on that, which is the value of their data. All things that we can use this type of data is to extract the land use of different areas. What you have here is an example, but looking again at the area of Barcelona, different grid. We do a grid of that, and we follow in the different areas of the city, which is the intensity of phone calls during the day. And with some analysis of what it is called today community detection in functional networks, what one can extract is that there are different uses of land in different parts. And it is interesting that the 4 types of land use that emerge is the same in the 31 cities that we have analyzed. And what you have here is a map of Barcelona from this methodology, identifying areas for business, residential areas, logistics, and nightlife. If any one of you knows know a little bit of Barcelona, you can recognize which is the left and the right part with different areas of business and residential, which is something that has been evolved in the last 20 years. To finish, I wanted to say or to show you something on the use of data from electronic transactions. This is a public movie from the data of BBVA, in which you can see in the Eastern week of 2011 in Spain what it is, these transactions in real time. You have here the day, the time of the day, and in different colors you have transactions done in groceries, gas station, fashion, or bars and restaurants. Of course, the size of the dot indicates the amount of money in transactions. So this is real-time data available in the banks from which they can extract a lot of things. Even for touristic things, you can recognize here that, for instance, Thursday of the Eastern week, there are areas in Spain in which it is a holiday and others in which is not. And when people spend more money in bars and restaurants or just traveling in the gas stations. Now, we have had access to this type of data. And of course, this is anonymized data, but what one can follow. We had 40 million transactions during 1 year in the city of Madrid and Barcelona, and what you can do is you follow a given individual that spends some money in one place, then it goes to another. This is just following anonymized individuals, but those are individuals in the city of Madrid. Now. From these things, we can do 2 things. First is to study the urban fluxes of money from one place of the city to another one, or something which is not that common in the studies of human mobility with this type of data, which is to look at the influence of socio-demographic characteristics. Of course, we know which is the sex of the people that does the transaction, the age, if it is employed or unemployed, if it is a student, a homemaker, anything. So from there on, we can just looking at different people, giving a quantitative assessment of the distance that they travel to do different type of purchases in the city. To be brief, the conclusion, at least in the cities of Madrid and Barcelona, is that we still have a very traditional type of society. And all the politically incorrect statements about how men and women behave turn out to be true. So women spend more money in groceries and fashion during the day weeks in the morning, and men spend more money in restaurants and in traveling and during the weekend. I mean, this is the reality. We have to face it, but this is the type of data that we can extract from electronic transactions. And I think that with that you have a few snapshots of the type of things that we are able to do analyzing mobility with big data. And as I said at the beginning, I'm sure Miguel will tell you a little bit about the potential of this thing in the touristic business, and I'll be happy to receive any feedback on this type of analysis and specific questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maxi. Now, after this big data analytics, very interesting presentation, I leave the floor to Miguel Palleras, who is going to introduce this successful case we have on Playa de Palma. And now I leave the floor to Miguel Palleras, who is going to introduce the Smart Wi-Fi project. So, Miguel, I leave you the floor.
Elena, perhaps there are some question. Perhaps waiting if we have some question in the room about what said the previous. Pas de question particulière. Okay.
I'm sorry, Jan
Okay,
Bernard,
good.
but we couldn't reach the latest thing you said. Could you please repeat?
No, it was if some question, but you can go on. There's no question, no specific question. Just go on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so I leave the floor to Miguel Palleras, which is showing us the successful case of Playa de Palma. So, Miguel, when you want to.
Sí, pues Andrés con el que cambiamos un momento. Sí.
Okay, I'm sorry. We will have. I'm sorry for the interruption. We're having before we're having the presentation of Baleares.t, and after that we're going to go back to another presentation. So we're going to have the presentation of Big Data and Tourism Strategy by Miguel Palleras from Baleares.t.
I'm going to cover with my presentation a little bit of trying to answer the question, all this information, what for? So first of all, I would like to emphasize that big data for sure is the driver of change. And it is my firm belief that it's going to change the way we work, the way we live, and finally the way we think. As well, big data is an opportunity for communities, an opportunity for destinations, an opportunity for companies, and an opportunity for institutions, and finally an opportunity for individuals as well. And I would like to emphasize three things. We are talking about a new kind of information, and I put into brackets the nowadays we could agree that we are on the what, and big data moves us towards the why. And the same with better information, that nowadays we could say that we are still in the pie or in the spread worksheet, in the chart, and we are moving with big data to the footprint, to the digital footprint. And then finally, different, because as Professor San Miguel has shown, big data already moves us from static information to dynamic information. And then we have, after this wonderful presentation of Professor San Miguel, clearly a fantastic opportunity, because travel is linked to human mobility. I would like to emphasize that tourism for us here in the Balearic Islands is this wonderful opportunity territories have to create wealth through non-resident demand. And of course, big data is a fantastic opportunity to link the traveler digital footprints to destinations and all we can learn. We have already seen how a destination is linked to the cities of origin of visitors. In the example we have been able to watch in this little cut of 30 seconds. And I think this is the most important thing, to link our future to the digital footprints of the travelers of the world. And finally, more and better information, what for? Essentially for three things, in my opinion. First of all, for a proactive response. Second one, for a better positioning. And third one, for a better decision making. And in a nutshell, we have been talking about change and opportunity, about digital footprint, and about being proactive because we have room for it. The positioning is the name of the game in the digital age. And finally, that with all these kind of tools, for sure, we have grounds for better decision making. So thank you, merci à tous. Then I would like to refer a bit to the presentation that is in Spanish of a colleague that was supposed to be here with us today on the largest Wi-Fi network that we have, free Wi-Fi network that we have in the world. Largest means with more traffic. And this network is in Playa de Palma, around 6 kilometers from the city of Palma. And thanks to the information that has been already collected this summer, we are able to know things that we didn't know before. For instance, where do the most connected visitors live in Europe? And it came as a surprise, at least to some of us, that in the Playa de Palma, most residents live in this German city of Colonia, of Köln, which is not an easy conclusion, and I think nobody was expecting it, because the largest city is Berlin, the wealthiest cities are Hamburg and Munich, and we are far more connected to Düsseldorf than to the city of Cologne. But this is something that it should help us position ourselves better in that city where we already have the flows, and until today we didn't realize that they were so relevant. Apart from these conclusions, as well, we got for the first time information on daily demand, on fluctuation of demand, on resilience in certain parts of the territory, and all this information, we were missing it before, and I suppose that in the future we will be able to make good use of it, because for sure what is the big difference, as I mentioned before, is that statistics are at the moment quite focused on total volume. Big data allows us to individualize these flows as they are being created over time. And this is a fantastic opportunity for the three things I mentioned, for a better positioning, for better decision making, and essentially for a better management of a destination as the Balearic Islands that needs these significant flows of non-residents to make a living. So thank you very much.